This eye's still a little bit blurry. The other part of this eye is blurry. But the main thing that's bothering me at the minute is double vision.
When he's looking up and in, the left eye is going up and in extremely well. The right eye is kind of stopping. You see how the right eye is just not as high up as the left, and that's a restriction. So the eye wants to go and he wants to track it, but the more I do this, the more he's going to start aching in that upper inner aspect. And then what he's going to do is, if he's in a fight situation, he's not going to be dealing with it. He doesn't want the ache in the eye, and he also doesn't want to have double. So what he's going to do is tilt his head. So that's on that side. If you look at the left, which should be matching it, so you're looking across, up, 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 as much as you can. And you can see how, again, with the right eye, it's up and out, but the left eye is just not able to go as extremely up as possible.
When I got poked in the eye, obviously, and then people were like, his eye wasn't even red. Does your eye always go red when there's something wrong, or is that?
You can absolutely lose your vision without having a painful red eye. So you don't need a red eye to have blurred vision at all. So no.
Yeah. So how long till I can train properly, spar?
It's a long road ahead, but the prognosis is guarded at the moment. I would recommend that you wouldn't fight until your double vision's resolved.
Tom Aspinall went to the doctors, and the doctors has confirmed that he's got some issues with his eyeballs. He's got some soft tissue damage to the eyeballs, and that will happen when a 6'6" Frenchman sticks both of his fingers knuckle deep into your eyeballs, okay? So that's not surprising. But what is surprising is that he has something called Brown syndrome, which basically is where the eyes aren't moving in tandem with one another. So therefore, the eyes, which are basically cameras, right, for your brain, in case you don't know, they're seeing different images. And when you see different images, you see double, or maybe sometimes the brain cuts out one of the images so that it doesn't get confusing and you don't get headaches and stuff like that. And then, of course, when you're only seeing through one eye, you have problems with depth perception.
Tom Aspinall has always been one of the few heavyweights capable of blending humility, professionalism, and raw fighting ability in a way that earns universal respect long before he even steps into the cage. For years, he has carried himself with a level of composure and maturity that any champion would be proud of, accepting short-notice fights, saving events, embracing chaos without complaint, and never resorting to trash talk or disrespect for attention. Yet somehow, he now finds himself at the center of one of the most unfair and insulting smear campaigns the UFC heavyweight division has seen in a long time. And it all began with a genuinely serious, potentially career-threatening eye injury. That injury, suffered in the fight against Cyril Gane, was not a simple poke or a brief moment of blurry vision. It resulted in impaired eye movement, depth perception problems, migraines, and possible long-term damage that affects not just his fighting future, but his everyday quality of life. Tom explained this openly and honestly, but instead of receiving empathy, the discussion around him turned into an opportunity for Jon Jones, silent for over a year while Tom respectfully called for a unification bout, to suddenly reappear and start mocking and dismissing an injury any experienced fighter knows is devastating. This is what sparked outrage across the MMA community. When Tom pushed for the fight, Jon disappeared. He retired, withdrew from the conversation, ignored every call-out, and left Tom holding an interim belt that felt more like a roadblock than a reward. No explanation, no acknowledgement, nothing. Tom kept training, kept winning, and carried the division with dignity. Meanwhile, Jon stayed silent, making it clear the unification fight would only happen under perfect conditions that benefited him. But the moment Tom was injured, the moment he showed vulnerability, Jon's silence ended. Suddenly, he had more to say than he had in the past year and a half. And his comments weren't jokes or harmless banter. They were bitter, mocking, and intended to paint Tom Aspinall as someone who quit, someone without the heart of a champion. Jon did this knowing full well that eye injuries are among the most dangerous and unpredictable injuries in all of combat sports.
situation. Looked like Curtis Blaydes came to beat Tom Aspinall up that night. Tom throws a kick and magically gets hurt. I would expect a fighter to at least attempt to stand back up or at least limp. And with Tom, he was just completely just out of the fight. And his last situation was Cyril Gane. He gets poked in the eye. Normally you see fighters that are doing this number, trying to get the doctor to look at it. And actually, initially, the doctor's just like, he seems fine. Tom's like, no, I can't see. I can't see. The guy wasn't trying to see. Yeah. The guy didn't want to see. The eye that he was covering appeared to be the eye that actually didn't get penetrated. One eye finger goes all the way underneath the eyelid. The other eye, it was on top of the eyelid. And he ends up grabbing the eye where the finger was on top of the eyelid. I don't even think Tom really knew which eye was supposed to be more compromised. He just knew that he had been fouled and it was his way out. So that alone shows me a little bit what's behind the facade of this whole Tom Aspinall character.
Can we get full-time Bully Aspinall after this smear campaign? How are you going to be on the comeback?
Mate, when I come back, there is no more Mr. Nice Guy. Nice Tom. When it comes to MMA, he's gone. And I'm going full bad guy, I think.
I feel as Tom's a great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony.
When you look at people talking shit online of like, oh, you know, he's ducking this guy or he's dodging this guy, they haven't seen the work that you've done in the past and how dominant you've been. We know you're not ducking this guy. I mean, talk to me about what you saw in his fight with Gane. I mean, because Gane looked like he was controlling the fight.
With Cyril Gane?
Yeah.
I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated. He has a beautiful 1-2. I got to learn a lot about his patterns in his last fight. Beautiful 1-2. That's really about it. He couldn't touch Cyril Gane at all. That's the way I felt. I felt like Gane was just getting warmed up. Gane's hands was down. He was shaking his shoulders, bouncing around.
He was touching him.
That jab.
He busted him open.
He was so comfortable.
I think Tom was looking for a way out and he took it. He needs to change his game plan.
When Tom gets hurt, he's like immediately incapacitated. Mm-hmm. It's like, you poke my eye.
He never tried to look. It was rag on the eye immediately. He doesn't have the dog in him.
Eye injuries are not something a fighter can simply tough out. They are among the most dangerous injuries in combat sports, and anyone who tries to fight through them risks permanent damage or even blindness. This is exactly why Dana White's frustration is now impossible to hide. He has watched this entire situation unfold from behind the scenes. He saw the UFC attempt to make Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall happen. He saw Jon remove himself from the conversation. He saw fans turn on Tom after the eye pokes. He saw analysts twist the story into something it never was. And he saw the smear campaign grow, while Jon refused to correct even a single lie. Then, after weeks of medical appointments, diagnostic tests, and genuine uncertainty about whether Tom could even continue his career, Jon Jones chose that moment to mock him publicly. And Dana White cannot stand that. Not because he is protecting Tom, but because this behavior disrespects fighter safety, damages the UFC's credibility, and turns a serious medical crisis into a social media spectacle designed to humiliate a fighter who has always acted with professionalism, humility, and integrity. The heavyweight division is now split in two. Those who believe Jon Jones is sabotaging the championship lineage, and those who recognize that Tom Aspinall is being unfairly attacked by a fan narrative built on misinformation and ignorance.
Waiting around for Jon Jones for a whole year, over a year. Career on hold. Despite the fact that he told everyone, look, this guy ain't going to fight me. He's going to retire before he'll fight me. So you might as well just give me the title now. But unfortunately, the UFC, they wanted to believe that their GOAT was the man that they bigged him up to be. And they were wrong. And after working his whole life to become UFC heavyweight champion, this was the way it was announced.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
All right, Dana, calm down. Don't get too excited. And that was in the middle of the night in some random-ass UFC press conference. No ceremony, no celebration, no congratulations, Tom. We've got the best young fighter in the world. It was as if no one gave a fuck from the UFC. It was so bad. And I get Dana was pissed because he'd been made to look a fool by Jon Jones. But that was never Tom Aspinall's fault. Tom just wanted to fight the best guy he possibly could. And you'd think MMA fans would love that. There's a fighter who's trying to fight the best, wants to win the title, wants to defend the title and be an active heavyweight champion, something we've not had in God knows how long in the UFC. But no, because Jon Jones weirdly has a lot of fans who want to see him protected and not get his chin smashed to bits. They supported the guy who ran away from the fight and trashed Tom consistently. What a weird fan base.
What a strange situation this fan base has created. Dana White now finds himself in the middle of a feud that should never have existed in the first place. The UFC wanted Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones for the historic White House event, the biggest promotional stage in company history. But Jon's refusal to take the fight, followed by his sudden return only to mock a serious and dangerous injury, forced Dana to shut that door permanently. The White House card will move forward without Jon Jones because Dana refuses to reward behavior that harms the UFC instead of elevating it. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall is trying to navigate a wave of criticism where his toughness, character, and integrity are being questioned by people who have absolutely no understanding of what he's dealing with medically. And every time more details come out about the severity and complexity of the injury, the backlash against Jon Jones grows louder. Fighters, analysts, journalists, and even former champions are calling out the blatant disrespect, especially when Tom has never insulted Jon publicly and has spent most of his career praising him as one of the greatest of all time. All of this has created a powder keg inside the organization. The UFC cannot keep ignoring the dangers of eye pokes, cannot allow fighters to be mocked for legitimate injuries, and cannot let a legend like Jon Jones rewrite the narrative at the expense of a champion who has done nothing wrong. Don't miss the next update. Hit that subscribe button